Right, get a load of this. We've got the HARROP E-lockers, and we've got everything we need to renew virtually everything in both axles. In fact, not virtually everything, except the housings. How good's that? But not only that, guess who I've got to give me a nick of hand? Come on in, Mr. Gray. You must have done something severely wrong in another life, I reckon.
I thought I'd got rid of you.
Yeah, I know. You thought we were done with just one Milo.
That's what he's talking about.
Come on, Allan, let's get into it.
Okay.
So Allan and I duck out the back, and Nick's been into it already too. It's just time to pull a few things off the chassis. We need to get it all stripped down. And so, of course, that starts with the easy stuff, doesn't it? We want the axles out because we're going to be working on them. But there's a fair bit of mucking around to be done just to get the suspension off. As you can see, I'm straight into it with the big hammer. Oh, lucky I hit it too. Look at the rust flying out of that. The problem with this old Toyota, like so many old vehicles, is it's done a lot of time without a lot of maintenance. And it's starting to show. Righto, trick here. To speed things up a bit, we're just going to knock the axles out, pull the diff centers out. Nick's going to start working on the HARROPs, installing those, and Allan and I will take one of the axles and pull it to bits. Well, with Allan whopping in with the big hammer to loosen up the pinion, you can see why we gave Nick the highly technical job of fitting the HARROP. But pretty soon we've got it knocked down. It doesn't take very long, this kind of stuff. Yes, it is easier to strip a Nissan axle, but then you can also strip it just by driving it around a lot easier too, can't you? I never said that. Oh, gee, I love this kind of stuff. I love getting hands-on with my trucks. It's the only way to know them. It really is. Well, we're into it over here, but every step of the way there's a slowdown. All the brake components, the separator bar and the springs, everything was rusted up. Allan's battling with a seized Phillip head, and I'm just pulling things off as I can. We'll get there. It's actually easier to put something back together than it is to pull it to bits, as a rule. When we got in this far, we realised the brake backing plates are pretty horrible. They just need a really good clean-up. They've got heaps of road grime on them. They've also got years and years of various antibodies and sprays and things. So they can come off. In fact, they would come off, except they're stuck.
You get them with the hammer.
Now they'll come off.
That's it.
There you go.
Yeah, it did. Okay, we've got to knock that out.
Yeah, we'll knock that dent out.
But it'd be nice if that was all cleaned up and
it would look good, wouldn't it? Eh? I mean, apart from looking good, it'll save it from rusting, make it easier to put back together.
So one of the problems in getting this out, you've got to actually undo two little screws. Now this one's sheared, it's rounded right off, couldn't shift it at all. So we had to actually turn it with a bar until we actually sheared it. They index into these little holes and actually lock the whole thing into place. So we had to shear that off, but in shearing it off it actually turned this tit here and destroyed and damaged the thread as it came undone all the way. It didn't let go. Yeah, it's only damaged in a couple of little places. This is very cunning because what they've done here, they didn't bring that groove right through to the end of the axle because it weakens the axle, so they've dug the groove there, but getting the washer with a tit on it wouldn't work, so they made a nice sloppy one. And it goes around there, fits into that groove, and then drops down into that. And this nut, which has got the index in it, that holds that down into the groove. Pretty smart idea. But in this case, it backfired and it turned around and damaged the thread. So to get the thread right, we've either got a thread file, which is like a die in a toolbox. Good thing to use, but I find sometimes it's better to use a hacksaw blade. Sometimes I grind the sides down. This one's fairly worn, so it's only a narrow thread. I just use a hacksaw to go around it. It's much quicker. Looks pretty gruesome, but it's very, very effective. And then I actually I use the nut as a die by finding out where the damaged part is and just hit it, and that corrects that thread. It's probably only just a few little parts of the thread. You just tap it until it actually comes very good. Sometimes I would use even valve grinding paste on there and rub it back and forth, tapping it until it actually neatens the whole thing up. And it's like, simple thing. These nuts are pretty dear. Not that I mind buying one, but in this case, we've restored that back to hand screwed on by hand. Quite good. We've got new bearings and seals for the hubs. The hub's never give any trouble at all, just make sure the studs are okay. And it's probably important to have these Scotch keys, as we call them, nice and tight in the housing. One's left in the axle, we'll knock them in later, but if they're worn at all, then the studs won't last at all. The two reasons for studs breaking is the fact that the wheel bearing's loose. These are we call them fully floating axles. They're really 7/8 floating. Fully floating axle means there's no strain at all on the axle, even if the bearings are loose. But in this case, the bearings are loose and the studs continually break or come loose, then I'd check the wheel bearings for movement. If they're loose, then the axle's actually twisting all the time and it'll shear off and makes the studs loose. Scotch keys are good, they really drive the axles, and you can get bigger studs if you're in real trouble, but we've run them for a long while and not quite okay. We'll knock the bearings out of this in the seal. We've got some new parts here, which is great, so we can knock them out, wash them up, and we'll put some bearings in it. The bearings could come out. Normally we'd wash the bearings up, have a good look at them and put them back, but this thing's been in the soles and the rust a bit and it's not much good playing around. We've got new bearings, we've got a complete kit from Terrain Tamer. It's got seals and gaskets, it's got genuine coil bearings, which is what the factory supply. And the top seals, these seals are interesting. These are the best seals you can buy in the world. They're dearer, but they give no trouble whatsoever. And incidentally, the gaskets, the boss didn't tell you this, but we pay 3 times as much for gasket material. So you can bend it a couple of times, it's not going to break. Some of it's awful stuff. So they're all included. We've got even the freewheel hubs, your gasket, and the lock tab too, which is important. So you get it fixed, he's back. I told you he'd be back when the sandwich girl went. Did you get it done?
No, I used the sandblaster at the back here and I got it done just enough so we can use it again.
That's right.
Because the sandblaster's a bit wonky, but I just cleaned up the usable surfaces,
Yeah,
you know.
we've got some black spray paint.
No, we're not doing a pretty job. We're taking it straight up the beach as soon as it's finished. It'll be all brown. Well, with jokes like that, no wonder Allan's got me back on the chisel. I'm just knocking the bearing racings out here. Bearing races, it's not that hard. You just got to get them in the right angle and get the chisel on and try not to do any damage to anything else. They pop out pretty easy anyway. That's one good thing about parts that run in grease all the time. I'm just getting the really old grease out of the hub before I try and wash it, because this will just clog up the washing stuff. It's ancient, this grease. Look at the old yellow grease in there. Meanwhile, Allan's decided to tap in the new bearings. Now, you see he's not hitting the race itself, okay? You never do that. And believe it or not, he's been really careful there, just tapping it around. Then he uses a pin punch to drive it in a little bit further. Now, meanwhile, this is my version of doing much the same thing, I guess. I use one of the old races that are knocked out as a bit of a pattern.
Now, to grease wheel bearings, I've gone over this before, but not many people take notice. Some people just rub a bit of grease around there, waste of time. If you go and feel the bearing getting heavier and heavier, then you're not getting enough grease in it. So we actually push it down into the top open part until it comes out the bottom. And I do that right around. Then I actually hold it and try and turn it a bit, and that gets rid of any air between the bearings. I don't put a lot of grease in the hub. I just have it sort of level, so as mechanically it doesn't allow the grease to come out of here because there's other grease there. But I don't jam it full. But I actually grease it till it really comes right through there.
Well, you want the grease on the bearings, not on the hub.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So it's come through there and it's quite heavy, it's quite tight to turn, and I can hear air coming out of it sometimes. So I really make sure those bearings are packed and we don't have any more trouble.
Righto. Clean.
I'll show you.
Go away. Never go near a man with black latex gloves. We are at the stage where we can start putting it back together. Just going to whack the brake backing plates on. We've given them a quick sandblast, bit of a quick clean up.
And a spray. Yeah.
Sorry, forgot the spray. And then we'll put the hubs on. Then we'll be able to slip the axles in when the diff's ready. Done. Easy.